thank you. I appreciate everyone who chose to stay here instead of grab us lunch. I promise not to stay here longer than expected, not to keep too long here. Last week I went to teach medical students in Tartu. It took me 2.5 hours from Tallinn to get there, and in the evening I came back. The next day I flew to Brussels, another 2.5 hours, in that case on plane. Again, a boring meeting, came back in the evening. Today, this morning, I came from Tallinn to Helsinki, 2.5 hours. So the world is small. It's not that much different either to go to Tartu or to Helsinki. I hope the tunnel will be there ready in 10 years' time, so we will travel in half an hour between these two cities. So I hope that we can bring down some barriers, and if we're talking about big data, we will really make it big. So there are 3.6 million of us, 5.5 here in Finland, 1.3 in Estonia. But it's a tiny, tiny fraction when it comes to the global world population. And the size matters. Estonia once said, okay, we will have a biobank with 50,000 populations. Then Genomics England said, we will have 100,000 genomes. United States told, okay, Obama had, we will have 1 million. And then Chinese told, we will have 10 million. So whatever we do, it is a remote corner, and it makes sense to do things together. But there are more reasons to that than that's just this one. 600,000 Finnish tourists came to Estonia last year, the largest number we've had over years. We're happy. Well, 70,000 Estonians work here in Finland on daily basis. Some of them come back for weekends, but I hope they contribute to your economy in a meaningful way. There are common challenges, and we seem to look at them in a similar way. Not just Estonia and Finland, but for us as well. Different kind of projections, but basically tell the same story. Future costs of healthcare are not bearable if current financing and care organization model are continued. The tiny text doesn't matter. You can see it from the picture that we are trying to solve the same problems. And we also share something which I call strategic assets and approach how to solve those problems. So Finland has its health and growth strategy, which tries to make use of the resources that have been built over decades. A prudent healthcare system, a lot of data, scattered currently, but in parallel with research capacity, you have also strong history of the pharmaceutical industry. In our case, we have 15 years as genome bank with 5% of population who have allowed their data to be collected and combined with other health-related data. And the strategic idea is that we should turn health and care from cost to growth engine. And makes sense because we can't bear the costs as has been discussed before, and I also showed to you. So the common strategic goal for health and social welfare comes from at least one important theme will be personalization and value-driven care for targeted effectiveness. Very nice panel. I'm sorry I couldn't hear the discussions yesterday, but I can imagine what are the topics around. And what we need to do is to really start make data-driven innovation and to use it for growth. It is not only for research purposes, even though much of the personalized healthcare and personalized care and personalized health is currently around research and development. But there are increasing examples how it actually can be put in practice. You heard them from here. I'm going to show just a slide about what we're going to do in Estonia. And it will transform the way. And artificial intelligence, what was just mentioned in the very end of last panel, it uses data. And I am really amazed and sometimes frightened how much everything can be quantified. And that also means that we don't know how and what the change will be. But if we work together, I think we will find out in a better way. So the paradigm that will change from systems point of view and what the ministries and policymakers are, or if they are not, then should think of, is that the current model is that we pool together a lot of funds. Doesn't matter what kind of taxes we use, but the idea is that we have a lot of money and then we try to ration them piece by piece to the people. And that is called the current healthcare system financing and organizational model. The future will be that we actually take each individual and then try to see what is best for her. And then we can use, yes, some of the publicly collected money, but also we can, in that way, much better integrate personal contributions in order to provide that care which is the best for this individual. It means also that, again, for artificial intelligence. My shortest definition of intelligence is goal-oriented adaptive behavior. So it has to have a goal, it has to adapt, so get some information from outside, and then to react on that in a meaningful way. So we have what is called care flow. So, and the amount of information can be different. Well, you and us, we're trying to integrate that. Then we have individual data, and increasingly so, we have care decision support algorithms and engines to support decision making. But if we pseudonymize that information, we actually can have fast feedback loop and learn every day. We don't have to wait 13 years for an idea to become an evidence, to become part of the clinical guidelines. Actually, we can learn every day. And this is something that we can do here in Finland and in Estonia better than many other countries all over the world. We will start this year, well, the preparations, the actual clinical part will take place next year. First clinical pilots, meaning the full sequence from collecting blood samples to analyzing the data, genetic data, combining that with health information, using decision support systems, trying to understand what will be the relationship between family doctors and patients, and then also different doctors, so family doctors together with hospital physicians, and to understand how that fits into the current health system. We do have similar technical platform. Well, this fuzzy picture in the upper left corner, it's a kind of new model of how we see X-Road, and Palveluväylä is pretty much the same thing. So you can connect different data sets across internet securely and do it fast and build services on top of that. You have a lot of data. This is Isaacus. I read it's named after Turku bishop, I believe, from the 17th century, who started collecting data and making judgments on population growth and different population groups. So this is the new version of how we're going to reap good value-adding services based on the data that we have. So the data integration approach is very similar. It really is to have a one-stop shop to integrate the data, and then not only in Finland, but also across borders. So that when a pharmaceutical company or when a startup wants to provide a service, they can immediately start doing so across both sides of Finnish Gulf. The train has left the station, so there are EU-funded projects. Well, it took years and ages to agree and start, but actually I've heard that from technical point of view, we can say that somewhere in 2018, Finnish e-prescriptions are valid to be purchased in Estonia, and hopefully in the second half, Estonian issued prescriptions will be valid to be purchased in Finland. There will be exchange of patient summaries between Estonia and Finland, and I'd love to hear your proposals. What could be the next services to reap from that assets that we do have? And then in the end, I would like to bust one myth. One thinking, and I a little bit heard also the discussion from the previous panel, that is it actually possible to have sophisticated IT services in health and social care? Is data protection allowing us to do so? I do think it's not a problem. First, we do have, as of next May, common data protection regulation across Europe. And it's very much based on the individual, the very person about whom the data is about. They are in control of that data. And if you provide them good value-adding services, then they are happy and everything is okay, also from the lawyer's point of view. So what we're going to try to convince during our presidency on the second half of this year, and call every one of you to join up, is that to tell that privacy doesn't mean that we should secure it from being used, because it's dangerous, but actually to use it securely, because we do have the culture, we have the technology, and we have the people and services who have proven it is possible, and people just love that. So to conclude, I think citizens should fully control their health data. It's the government's obligation to support this process through infrastructure, legal framework, and when the question was raised, who should own the data? Should it be the multinationals? Should it be the government? Then I believe that it will be the citizens themselves. There are already citizen cooperatives in Switzerland, in the Netherlands, in the United States, many other places, where they earn money or they can basically hire a pharmaceutical company to do research for their disease or the problem that they want to solve, not the other way around. So I hope we can together have an astonishing finish to all of these things and dare to fulfill our desires safely. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, really showing us the way. Hopefully this will be fulfilled. What's the closest we have? You mentioned the citizen cooperation model, you said the benchmark Switzerland. So do we have anything currently ongoing on Finnish Estonian?
I'm trying to get organizations who are working with citizens. So in Estonia, we are trying to build service from the public side so that individuals can control and give authorization for their data to be used third-party users. Estonian companies or researchers, Finnish or other ways. I know that this is not exactly the model that has been used so far in Finland. So currently still much is relied on the government, so that the government should own the data and keep it securely. Governments have responsibility for the whole population. So it may well be that in case of Estonia, 0.6% of people don't want their data to be used. And that is fine, they should have that right. But those who do want to share the data, we should give them that opportunity. So we have technical tools, we have some pilots. I hope we will have it at large scale implementation in the next few years as well.
Any concrete websites you would like to recommend, just for those who are interested, just to share the good?
In Estonian, Digilugu, digilugu.ee. That is the service we have for patients. You can't log in currently yet with your Finnish ID. You will pretty soon. And then eesti.ee is where you have full list of services, and that's in English as well, and you can see some of the available services. But stay tuned. As said, there is kind of news coming out, and my colleagues in Finland, we have very close relationship. We just had a seminar a few weeks ago on value-based healthcare. We are working very closely at technical level to link those things, but I don't want to kind of spoil the actual story when it's ready.
Very good. Thank you so much for an inspirational talk, and let's give a big applause. One more. Thank you very much.